Democrats' risky bet. Aid GOP extremists in spring, hoping to beat them in the fall. So this story is coming back because some of the primaries are happening today, and we're going to get the results as to what happens. However, we're not going to know if Democrats nuked themselves until the midterms. But if you're wondering why it is, partly that so many Democrats are joining the Republican Party and why Republicans are polling so well, it's because Democrats have been directly funding the messaging and PR support of Trump supporting candidates. They believe, like Biden comes out and he's like, ultra MAGA. And all the Trump supporters start laughing and everyone jokes about ultra MAGA. They believe that moderates don't like MAGA and don't like Trump. So they're actually dumping millions of dollars into Republicans because they believe that when the Republican wins, they can beat them in the general. What they don't understand is two things. One, there's no such thing as bad press. Dumping tens of millions of dollars into a Trump supporting candidate just makes them more prominent permanently.
Yeah.
And two, people are voting against Democrats. They'll vote for a ham sandwich at this point because gas is so high.
Also, this literally happened, right? Hillary Clinton's campaign
exactly.
wanted to promote Donald Trump so they could run against him because they thought it'd be easier to beat.
The Pied Piper.
Yes.
They call him the Pied Piper candidacy. That's why we saw it in the emails where they actually focused on Ben Carson first, and they wanted to elevate Donald Trump.
Yep.
And try to take him out there. And
they thought Trump couldn't win. Mm-hmm. So if they promoted him, and the reason they called him a Pied Piper was they thought that if they got Trump more prominence, it would force the other Republicans to adopt Trump's positions so that Trump would guide the Republican Party in a direction that would lose votes. And then Trump won. And now they're all coming together and they're like, remember the thing we tried in 2016 that didn't work? Let's do it again.
They're like, I know how we'll get an extremist candidate that the American people will hate. He should be against grooming. He should be against grooming. He should say that it's bad.
And he should think that abortion at 9 months is also a bad thing. And then he'll lose because everyone knows Americans are all in favor of that. Why? Well, as you know from The Guardian, 80% of people support that, which they don't, but that's what Democrats actually believe.
They're like, look, everyone I talk to at Whole Foods agrees with me.
Yeah, no, at Erewhon.
Erewhon, yeah.
Do you know Erewhon?
That's like the even fancier one, right?
In Los Angeles.
Yes.
It's like $20 for a smoothie.
I don't have that.
So the Democrats right now on the January 6th committee are like, this country is in grave danger. The far right seeks to destroy our democracy. And we're funding them and promoting their message and helping them build a base.
Yeah, so is this perhaps a symptom of being so tightly in your own tight little echo chamber that you can't see the way out?
Yes.
Is that possibly it?
They live in a bubble world. It's a cult.
Yeah,
and they're like, if we promote these people who believe fringe things, we'll certainly win. And then it's like, what does the candidate believe? One candidate was like, I'm pro-life. And they're like, promote him. He's far right. And then you're like, dude, the guy who says he's pro-life isn't going to constituents and screaming like that all women should be locked in prisons. He's saying things like, well, I just think there's challenges here, particularly as the Democrats are pushing for abortion up to 9 months. And they go like, wait, what? And he's like, yeah. And they're like, I saw your ad on TV. And he's like, yes, that was paid for by Democrats. And I'm like, I'm going to vote for this guy.
So they're watching too many movies. They're watching too much Handmaid's Tale.
They're watching their own movies.
Exactly. They're watching their own movies. That's literally part of the bubble. And what is it that the New York Times is calling extremist? Because I'm pretty sure they think Marjorie Taylor Greene is an extremist. And she won handily, I believe.
Right. They're watching like The Handmaid's Tale. And then sitting there going like, I want to make a show like this. And then they make like The Handmaid's Tale 2. And it's even crazier. And then some other person watches that and goes, I want to make a movie like this. They keep one-upping the psychotic ideology.
Well, this is what's hilarious to me. So many left-wing people on Twitter and even on like Instagram, Facebook, other social media outlets where you actually interact with people so many people I've seen will post things like, this is just like The Handmaid's Tale, as if they're making some like interesting connection. It's like, okay, Handmaid's Tale was written by a left-wing feminist to critique how she thought our society operates. And oh my goodness, left-wing feminists think that that's how our society operates. Like, you haven't observed anything. She made a book about how she thought the world is, and then people who agree with her were like, yeah, this book is kind of how the world is.
It's the craziest thing is, we talk about these dystopian novels, 1984, Brave New World, Fahrenheit 451, even Handmaid's Tale, and it's not any one of them. Someone back in the day, they sit back, George Orwell, he's like, I imagine a future of a government that controls everybody and forces them to do these things. And then you have Brave New World where it's like people are controlled through pleasure and medication. And it's like, actually, it's just all of it, dude. It's all of it. Luke Rakowski has this shirt where it shows it's the wheel, it's the Venn diagram with all the different novels, and it says "You Are Here," and it's
Yeah.
like in between all of them.
Like Logan's Run and all that stuff. 84
Well, actually, Logan's
Actually-
Run. Now that I think about it,
Also, I just want to mention you guys are actually wrong. So George Orwell wrote A Handmaid's Tale, but he knew we weren't ready for it. So he passed it on in his will until someone gave it to Margaret Atwood, and she said it's time.
But your kids are
and
going to
published
love
it.
it.